seems that praying is to be the extent of my contribution after all. But I will stay behind, as I have been bid. We all have our talents. Mine just happens to involve a silver tongue and soft souls. I promise to send word the moment I learn aught of consequence. See that you notify me too. I mean to depart for Doma as soon as I find a suitable Adenard vessel to bear me thither, but I shall return if I am needed. Be sure to drop in whenever you are next in the sea, soul. With any luck, I will have a painfully detailed report from Alfina to share. Oh, so if you have come here hoping for news, You two are a scythe or sore axe. Now all I need is water for my parched throat. Fetch me a cup, will you? Praising through Imperial territory is thirsty work.
God, I needed that.
I won't bother telling you to catch your breath. Whatever brought you galloping back to us, I assume it's urgent.
Quite. Without further ado, then. After the successful uprisings in Doma and Alamigo, rebels in several other provinces were inspired to follow suit. Unfortunately, they did not fare quite so well. The Dalmascans paid the heaviest price. For their defiance, the Emperor made a show of razing their capital to the ground, prompting many of their neighbors to abandon thoughts of resistance. But not all have given up on liberty. Heartened by the news of Doma's prisoner exchange, some still believe that the Empire may one day be amenable to negotiation. We have the shinobi to thank for spreading the good word. They have worked tirelessly to keep the subjugated informed, and a little knowledge can go a long way.
There is at least a spark of hope, then.
A spark in want of kindling, yes. The Alliance has already begun supplying materiel to resistance movements abroad, many of whom would otherwise struggle to continue the fight. The support effort has been led by the Sultana and the Elder Seedseer, who have both seen enough Alamigan refugees to know the consequences of oppression. And for their troubles, they have quickly earned a reputation as folk heroes in certain corners of the Empire. That is all for the provinces. As for the Garlean motherland itself, our friends the Populares have suffered something of a setback, I regret to say. Talk is rife that Doma has summoned a primal, and the Empire's more liberal voices are being drowned out in the fearful clamor for retribution.
And who do they think orchestrated this summoning?
Oh, any but those truly responsible. Xenos has seen to that. Speaking of whom, the Crown Prince is recovering remarkably well. Well enough, in fact, to enable him to personally tour the provinces, putting the fear of the Emperor into the hearts of any would-be dissidents.
He walks in plain sight, and none suspect him. Then it's as we feared.
Yes, an Ascian wears his skin. But it was not that which brought me here in such haste. During my time in the provinces, I learned many things. Yet at no point did I hear any report of a Doman emissary in the capital.
But Alphonse should have arrived by now. Could they be holding in there in secret?
The possibility did cross my mind, but I have reason to believe he never reached his destination. As you know, Scions assigned to covert operations, such as Riol and myself, are issued special link pearls for communication in the event of an emergency. I mention this because it was originally Alphino's task to coordinate the response at headquarters, meaning he has one. And whose voice should I hear when mine recently crackled to life?
You spoke with Alphino?
Spoke with, no. I but heard his voice, and none too clearly at that. 2 words were all I could make out. The burn.
The wasteland on the edge of Otherd. Something must have happened to them there. There's no time to waste. We must make for the burn at once.
I had a feeling you might say that.
And? I can't very well sit around here drinking tea if Alphino's in trouble. You said yourself that this link pill was only to be used in emergencies. So I'm going, and that's the end of it.
Oh, far be it from me to change your minds.
Loath though I am to neglect making preparations for the council, we must act swiftly before Alphina's trails goes cold. I propose we must first pay Ian a visit. Be sure to want to hear about these developments, and he may well be able to advise us on how best to reach the burn. A sound plan. And your Stola is in Doma, is she not? I dare say she'd join you in the search if you ask her nicely. While you see to all that, I shall go and report my findings to the Alliance. You may leave any preparations for the councils to me. Thank you, Dankrid. Right, to Doma. Then, we have much and more to share with your Stola. travel in and out monthly. Of course. Greetings, my friends. Alice has explained all to me. Needless to say, you shall have our full cooperation in the search, even if Alfina's trail does lead to the burn, of all places. Seems like that's the best option. The religion known as the Burn occupies a special place in Garlean history. Every child in the Empire is familiar with the tale. In the distant past, it was a verdant land teeming with life, but successive summonings saw it bled dry of aether and reduced to a desert. It was upon beholding the devastation that Primos had wrought that Emperor Solus was spurred to embark upon his crusade against their kind. The burn offers a glimpse of the future we seek to prevent. Know you of any reason why Alfina might have gone there? Aye, Miss Hans. Though it lies on the route to Golamal, it is no place to make a stop. My guess is they encountered some manner of trouble there. In any event, I am of the same mind as Alice. We have no choice but to take our search to the burn. Given the considerable distance involved, 'tis best we went by bird. Sol and I have our yolks. Yuguri, will you ready falcons for the others? I shall gather our swiftest birds. Near the House of the Fears, there is an overlook. Pray join us there once you have seen to your preparations. If everyone is here and possessed of a bird, let us away. Remember, our destination is a barren wasteland. There is no civilization to speak of for 100 mains in all directions. Take care, you do not lose your way.
Between contending with bloodthirsty beasts and sand in my every conceivable place, I'm quite ready to leave this wasteland. But first things first. Do you see the crashed ship over yonder? Judging by its class, it must be the vessel that bore Master Alphinaud away.
War Machina. It would seem they were involved in a struggle. There may be clues. We should split up and search the area.
There's no sign of Alphinaud, nor of Maxima and his people.
These were no ordinary soldiers. Over here! The insignia on this man's uniform identifies him as one of the Emperor's personal guard.
Hand-picked soldiers, answering only to the royal family.
That would explain why all the casualties are Garlean. They were fighting their own.
You're saying the Emperor was behind all this? That Alphinaud is his prisoner?
Aye, we must not jump to conclusions. Besides, Alphinaud is more than capable of looking after himself, is he not?
I suggest we return to Doma to consider our options. Whatever happened here, Master Alphinaud is long gone, and any subsequent search may safely be left in the hands of the shinobi.
Where in the world are you, brother? If you die on me, I will never let you hear the end of it.